Your Steve Jones Show podcast is loading now. The Steve Jones Show podcast is sponsored by Purdy Insurance. Visit Purdy Insurance on Market Street in Sunbury or visit online at purdyinsurance.com. Sports talk where your voice counts. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Clifford, quarterback sneak. They push the pile and into the end zone. We're waiting for the call. Waiting. Touchdown, Penn State. First and 10, their own 30. Far Ash going right to left as we see it. Trips near side. Singleton to the left. Singleton sweeps far side. Blocker in front. 35, 40, 45. There he goes. 30, 20, 15, 10, 5. Welcome to the end zone for the first time in your Penn State career. Nicholas Singleton. Touchdown, Penn State. 22,000 students yelling and screaming. Takes it. Bangura. Rourke lost it, fumble in the end zone. It's going to be a safety. Penn State's first safety since the Pitt game in 2018. Motion by Washington away from us. Play action fake. Clifford throws. Caught. Touchdown. Penn State. Mitchell Tinsley. It is Singleton, bounces to his right, 25, 30, Singleton outside 35, 40, far sideline, there he goes again, 40, 30, and down at the 25-yard line. He goes over 100 yards for the first time in his Penn State career. And for the Nittany Lions, their first 100-yard rushing game since Kevon Lee at Michigan in 2020. Play action fake, delivers down the middle. Amari Evans got it. Touchdown, Penn State. The first touchdown pass in Beaver Stadium for Drew Allar. Amari Evans' first ever catch is a touchdown, and the Nittany Lion faithful thrilled. Lone setback, Singleton. He's got it. Bounces to his right, to the edge. Gets the edge, 40, 35, 30. There he goes again, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Penn State. 44 yards for Nicholas Singleton. That should be it. Jamari Budd made the play along with Viterbo Mulba. It is over. The Nittany Lions are now 2-0. They win it with relative ease, 46-10 on a day where a lot of people got in the game and a lot of people contributed, including a lot of freshmen that the fans were anxious to see.
Oh, good afternoon, everybody. It is the Steve Jones Show on a Victory Monday for your 2-0 Nittany Lions. Big win against Ohio, taking care of business as we all thought they would. Lots to get into today. It was a wild college football and NFL weekend. Today's show, of course, brought to you by Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury, or go to purdyinsurance.com. Home, auto, life, business, boat, RV, whatever you need, they have it. They are the true pros when it comes to insurance matters. And it's all at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury, or go to purdyinsurance.com. And Steve will soon be in the Sunbury Motors studio. Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. And online at sunburymotors.com. We all know SMC stands for Sunbury Motor Company, selling more cars and satisfying more customers. With that comes the need for many great behind-the-scenes employees. While they have many awesome technicians ready to serve you, they need more due to the busy business that a 107-year-old dealership has earned. They're looking for entry-level and experienced technicians to work in their quick lane, car, light truck service, heavy truck service, body, frame, and alignment, and towing departments. Whether you are an experienced technician, an entry-level technician looking for your first job, or someone looking for a career change, they would love to hear from you. Stop by in person, apply online at sunburymotors.com, or call Todd at 286-7746. Loaded show today as well. We've got plenty of Penn State, Ohio reaction. LNP's Mike Gross at 3:35. Then we've got Nate Bauer of On3 Sports at 4:06. And then we have Dave Cicchini, head coach of Bucknell, joining us as he normally does at 4:35. Tough one for Bucknell at VMI. They lose 24-14. Got down 21-0 in that game. Able to fight back a little bit, but they do fall a little bit short down at Virginia Military Institute, and they get ready for Central Michigan on the road next week before Central Michigan comes to Happy Valley to take on Penn State the week after, and we now know that is a noon kickoff. So there you have it. Also named today, Nick Singleton, no surprise, freshman of the week for the Big Ten after his monster performance. And with that, I talked about it all last week. Nick Singleton should have solidified himself as this team's primary back. There should be no more ifs, ands, or buts about it. This guy, and it was talked about on the pregame a lot, on the TV broadcast at least, where once this guy gets to the edge and you can set the blocking, which was a lot better on the edge this time from the Penn State's offensive line, particularly from Sal Wormley on the 70-yard run by Nick Singleton, you can't stop him. That burst is hard to beat that he has. And then once he gets to the open field, obviously forget about it. It happened on both his big runs and other times throughout the game. No one's had a Beaver Stadium debut like Nick Singleton. So this should be case closed. We'll see if James Franklin talks about it. I'm sure he'll be asked about it. Will he reveal anything tomorrow? I doubt it, but we'll see. I'll be very curious to see what he has to say. What he has to say about Nick Singleton. If the primary thought was to wait till somebody gets hot and keep going this 1-to-1-to-1 rotation, I don't know how much hotter you can get right there. Now, Katron Allen came alive a little bit. He had a pretty nice game. So that was good to see. Kevon Lee, yeah. And I think you can use the two of them in the passing game, but Nick Singleton should be the primary back. No question. Then, when it comes to Drew Allar, I was, like many, was very surprised when he came in at still a 26-7 game, early third quarter. The game, to me, is not fully in hand yet. But James Franklin goes to him, and if that was the case, to try to show a little more confidence in the kid, to really see what he can do, then maybe that second-level coaching you just got to give James Franklin a lot of credit for, because Drew Allar showed, and to me solidified himself as well as the backup quarterback, and probably at least quarterback of the future, you would think, the way he handled that particular drive, leading Penn State to a touchdown drive to start putting the game away, 2 touchdown passes total, showed that arm of his once again, but most importantly, showed the poise in the pocket that he had. He did it on the road in a much tougher environment. Had been come in relief for Sean Clifford the week before at Purdue. And then he comes in, and if he's truly going to be that kind of guy going forward for Penn State, you have to be able to take advantage and pick apart teams you're supposed to pick apart. And he did. That was very, very encouraging to see. As well as the other freshmen that shined when they got their opportunities. It was a very good day for Penn State on Saturday afternoon. And they should be feeling very confident going into Auburn. It's going to be a tough environment, no doubt about it. Auburn's still a pretty good team. But Penn State is in very good shape, especially at the quarterback position. That was solidified for sure. And they should now have their primary back in Nicholas Singleton. There it is. The kids were fun to watch, let me tell you.
Kurt Warner at 280 yards total offense in his Beaver Stadium debut. All right, so yeah. I know that was before you were born.
Correct, but
yeah. But
I love me some number 10, let me tell you.
He played the way. Yeah. Yeah, it's, I don't know. Everybody wanted to see the freshman. In fact, I was talking to Dusty Dvorak on Friday morning, and we talked for about 45 minutes. I mean, I always get the same first question every time. You know what that is?
What did you think?
No, that suit guy's not going to be at the game, is he?
S-U-I-T, that spells suit.
First question I get every single time. Dusty, don't worry about it. We're all good. And I said to him, I said, you can be looking down at your scouting board or getting a drink. I said, and you'll know when Drew Allar comes in the game. Singleton, look, I'm used to seeing this, okay? So it's great to see it in a game. He has that special burst. That's why I said, when I was talking about Purdue, I said, look, he couldn't make the first guy miss. I said, if he can make the first guy miss, this guy's going a long way. And James said to me, he says, geez, he says, I'm watching the game on the sideline, and I didn't think that. He said, and all of a sudden I went back and, I said, obviously we look at the video. He said, and as soon as I looked at the video, I go, now I know what Steve's talking about. Right? And and there's a lot of things that happen. Like, take, for example, the touchdown pass to Dinkins that Drew threw. All right? Just when Allar steps in the pocket, it was, look how he stepped and lead. Katron Allen made a block, or that guy's right at his knees. No Katron Allen blocked, no touchdown pass. Great play by him, subtle, under the radar, winning play by Katron Allen. Allen also had a winning play in the 22-yard screen pass. Amari Evans, the throw was phenomenal by Drew Allar. But Evans ran a great route to get himself open, and he has what I always talk about this. Who can take the top off? Amari Evans can take the top off. Just a kid, but he can take the top off. Makes a big difference. Big difference. And by the way, Sean Clifford played very well.
Yeah, that goes without saying.
Nobody's talking about it, but he played very well.
Yeah.
So I said on the broadcast, they did the opening drive, they scored, and he went 6 for 6 on the opening drive. And so I said, and Sean Clifford was a mediocre 6 for 6 on the opening drive. Right. And of course, his parents heard it. And, of course, they're laughing. And Sean comes up to me at practice last night. He's laughing. He goes, oh, man, that was priceless. I said, yeah.
Well played.
I said, you know me. Gets a little loosey-goosey up in the old booth sometimes. have a little fun. And we may do it at the expense of the smartest guy at the tailgate. All right. We'll take a break. Come back. More in a moment. Great to have you with us today on News Radio 1070 WKOK, brought to you by Purdy Insurance.
When car repairs get difficult.
Well, I just don't know. Me neither.
We get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Open 7 till 4, Monday through Friday. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. While Sunbury Motors factory-trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6, Monday through Friday, Saturday, 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.
The weather is getting cooler and the leaves are changing in Central PA. Hi, this is Season from Purdy Insurance. If your current agent is falling short, it's time to give Purdy Insurance a call. We're a local, family-owned independent agency ready to find the right insurance to fit your needs. You can call us at 570-286-5855, stop in our office on Market Street in Sunbury, or head to our website at purdyinsurance.com to find out what we can do for you.
Rainwater, groundwater, problem water.
Ugh, look at this glass.
I know. Spots.
The problem is your water.
Hey, Culligan man.
Those ugly spots on your glassware and fixtures, they're deposits left by sediment or impurities in your water. And 85% of North American households have them. But a Culligan whole house water conditioning system gets rid of sediment and impurities, so everything stays spotless. We make it easy to buy, finance, or rent, whatever fits your household budget best. And your Culligan man is licensed, local, and always there when you need him.
Call Culligan of North Central Pennsylvania today for all your water treatment needs and set up a free in-home water test with a water professional that knows the water where you live. Culligan of North Central Pennsylvania. Call 1-800-788-1978. That's 1-800-788-1978, or visit them online at callculligan.com. That website again is callculligan.com. Culligan, better water, pure and simple.
Stop searching and start watching with TiVo Stream from SCCV. Watch live, recorded, on-demand, and streaming entertainment all in one place. Find your favorite shows, movies, and videos by simply asking Google Assistant. Plus access to over 5,000 apps and games, including Netflix, Disney+, Amazon Prime, and more with Google Play. Wirelessly extend your TiVo experience to any room in your house or beyond. More features, more value, more fun with TiVo Stream, the new way to stream from SCCV. Visit sccv.com/TiVo Stream to learn more.
Here's Buckner. Pressure coming. Buckner stands in and fires his post. Intercepted. Gilmore down the sideline. Pick six. Gilmore.
No good.
Oh, my.
Peoples to the outside. Stiff arm in the open field. Cameron Peoples. Still going. Touchdown. No, he went out of bounds.
A tough day for your Notre Dame guys.
Yeah. As I texted you, I've already declared the ND season gone.
And the quarterback's out for the year.
Yeah.
He's going to need shoulder surgery. He's out for the year.
But take your pick. Neither are very good, so whatever.
They were already struggling offensively to begin with. But this is they can't play enough defense to overcome their quarterback. Just like Iowa can't play enough defense to overcome their offense.
Not only that, just Indy's offense again. And you thought maybe because they're on the road at Ohio State, whatever, being conservative. But let's face it, this offense is basic. I mean, basic. Like this is below NFL preseason basic, and it's pretty pathetic, to be honest with you. They have no quarterback. They have no running game. They have no receivers except for Michael Mayer. They have a great offensive line and a great defense, but they have nothing to block on the offensive line. And so again, why they were number 5 to begin the season was beyond me, because this is what I expected from them, to be honest with you.
Everything is always about how did you finish last year. Okay? That's how these preseason rankings are done. That's why, you ask me and others ask me about, Penn State's not ranked. And I always say, I don't care. What do I care? I care less. All right? Where are you ranked at the end of the month? Where are you ranked at the end of October? Where are you ranked when the college football playoff rankings come out? Right? That's why I don't play these games. As you know. It frustrates the heck out of you, but
no, that I understand to some degree, at least for this early portion of the season. But you know me, I just can't ignore stupid. Putting Notre Dame number 5, knowing the talent they had coming back, was dumb.
So we're waiting for the pregame show, and I'm leaning up against a post. And Jack comes up to me, and guess what he says?
Asking about the suit?
No, that's already that was the first season.
I was about to say.
Well, that actually went about 3 or 4 seasons. Yeah. You're always so calm.
Oh, Well, that's not surprising. He's the one that gave you the 45 heart rate.
That drives you nuts. When you look at Appalachian State there, when they put North Carolina put 63 up on that defense. 63. What did Texas A&M put up? Including, and remember, one of the scores for Texas A&M was a kickoff return. I have never been a big Jimbo Fisher guy. Never. He has not had a quarterback average 300 yards per game passing. And he is a passing, pass coach since Jameis Winston. Literally, look it up. By the way, your guy Freeman, I think, is a really good coordinator. That is a job where you need to have head coaching experience before you take it. Okay? Notre Dame is not a job for on-the-job training.
Agreed.
Taking your calls at 800-795-9565. This is The Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. Now, from the Sunbury Motors Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Today's show brought to you by our good friends at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, life, business, RV, motorcycle, or in the suit's case, yacht. I don't know what he's doing with that thing on the Susquehanna, but that's okay. It doesn't seem deep enough. I think it's a little showy. But they take care of all of your insurance needs. Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Time to bring in Mike Gross. Mike, how have you been?
Well, I'm shopping for yacht insurance, so I'm glad to hear what I just heard.
Perfect. Just don't use it on the Susquehanna.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I see too much of the Susquehanna, frankly, in this time of year.
A message from this station and the ad council. All right. So, Mike, you watched 2 games. What do you think so far?
I think they've a lot of the things that we thought might be issues have not been resolved, but they have not been glaring problems so far. So I think that's good. And the interesting dynamic throughout this season, and certainly through the first 2 games, have been how you work the freshmen in and sort of build for the future while at the same time trying to win now. And I'm not sure those things are mutually exclusive given how potentially explosive and talented some of these freshmen are.
So let's start with one of them, and that's Nicholas Singleton. He and Katron Allen, obviously, but Singleton's the one that shined with 179 yards. What have those 2 guys, and based on what happened Saturday, Singleton in particular, meant to that running game?
I think the sheer speed, and, I saw Singleton's from not too far from here, so I saw him play in high school, and I would not have guessed, based on what I saw, that he was, like crazy fast by the standards of his position, but I remember I did the story on running back group for the Town and Gown magazine, the preview magazine, and I remember Jawan Sider telling me, look out, man, this guy can really motor, and he's turned out to be right. I mean, I everything you have to preface everything with, okay, it was Ohio, they played Ohio,
yes,
but to turn the corner on a sweep and just take it to the house against any college football team is pretty impressive. Obviously, doing it against Auburn will be a different animal. But what he can do in the big play sense is, James Franklin said it after the game, it has to change the way defensive coordinators prepare and play call against you.
He had 4 runs because they those chips. He had 4 runs in the spring where he was better than 21 miles an hour, which is
that's motoring.
Okay. That is moving. Sean Clifford played really well on Saturday. In fact, now they have been in 3 end of the half or end of game modes, and he has scored a touchdown in all of them. But the world wants to talk about.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. That's why I do this job, Mike. I can fill in some of those blanks. But everyone wants to talk about number 15, Drew Allar. Beaver Stadium got their first real look at Drew Allar on Saturday. What kind of impression did he make on you?
Well, he's such a big kid, and what the football geeks call the arm talent is so obvious with this guy. I thought of, this is a crazy comparison, but you know who I thought of? Nolan Ryan. A guy who throws so hard, so easily. The arm talent is remarkable. One of the things that I saw, and my carpool buddy Dave Jones and I were disagreeing a little bit about this on the way home, but I thought his mobility, at least within the pocket, was pretty good. I thought he moved around pretty well, and he might be a little bit of not a weapon in the running game, but useful in the running game, that he's such a big kid that people are just going to bounce off him. And we saw a little bit of that. And the other thing that stood out, and again, this is something that Franklin pointed out, but it's so true, the incredible poise that this guy has. I mean, it feels like he's very comfortable in what would normally be a very uncomfortable environment for an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah, he moves. He moves better. I'm not saying he's a runner. He moves better than people think he does. I thought what was important as to what James Franklin did, no matter what, to start the second half, you always want your starters out there in an early game because they have to get used to coming out of a locker room. Like, I'm cold now, I'm going to come out of the locker room. But then after that first series, with the first unit, that's when he put Drew in. Drew worked with the first unit guys. I thought that was an important coaching move.
Yeah, and he said after the game that his original plan was to get him in the second quarter, but I think he hoped they'd be farther ahead than they were, and that's why that didn't happen. But having said that, James normally plays an awful lot of people at every position other than one, and you know what the one is. So I thought it was significant that he got in as early as he did, and I thought that he got to play as long as he did. He didn't play the rest of the game, but he did play, 4 or 5 series? I thought that was significant, and it'll be very interesting to see how the two, how Clifford and Allar are used on Saturday.
I think I know how the first guy's going to be used. He's going to play. Yeah, so. That's right.
And we were talking about this after the game. A couple of the scribes. People understandably are very, very determined to be impressed with Allar. But if Allar had for some reason started the game Saturday and had played exactly the way Sean Clifford did, nobody'd be saying, well, let's go to the bullpen. I mean, everybody would have been, wow, that was an awesome performance. Well, it was a pretty good performance. Just because Sean Clifford was the guy doesn't make it any less impressive. And he's still obviously, maybe some people would dispute obviously, but I think he clearly is their best option to start and to win now.
All right, so now we get to the defensive side. A lot of down linemen played. He's been playing a lot of secondary guys to begin with. What do you think of the Penn State defense through obviously a very small sample size of 2 games?
I thought more could be taken from the first game than the second. And I was impressed with a lot of what they did. And I'll tell you who I'm impressed with, Manny Diaz. I thought he had a great game against Purdue, reacting to what Jeff Brom was trying to do early in the game. I thought it was about okay, they're going to complete some throws. He gets rid of the ball so quickly. Let's just make sure we get their receivers on the ground and keep them in front of us. They did a great job of that. And then when Purdue started to make some adjustments, then they went to a very aggressive approach and brought pressure from a lot of different places. If you remember, Johnny Dixon on a corner blitz that got to the quarterback. And I thought I thought the pressure, Chop Robinson with a big pressure right near the end. I thought the way Diaz handled that was very good. And the bottom line is, as good as Purdue's passing game is, and as good as their quarterback is, he threw it 60 times and completed 50% for less than 6 yards per attempt. I mean, you have to regard that as a success. And this is going to be a much different animal, obviously, next week. I don't need to tell you that. Auburn's going to run the ball and is very capable of running it. And so maybe now P.J. Mustafer's role gets bigger, and maybe Adisa Isaac's role gets bigger, and maybe the linebackers as a group, maybe their role comes into sharper focus. But so far, so good, I would say.
There has been some talk, and it's only just talk. I mean, there's always a lot of speculation about what future schedules will look like with the conferences expanding.
Yeah,
and somebody threw out the idea of 10 games in a conference. Well, if you play 10 games in a conference, you're going to play a couple of games like this one, this past weekend. You're not going to be playing the intersectional games anymore if that happens, because you need 7 home games. It's just a numbers thing, right?
Yep.
What do you think that would mean for college football if you lost a game in the schedule, like a Notre Dame game in the opener with Ohio State, a Penn State Auburn game, Texas Alabama was a non-conference game. What do you think that would do for college football to lose some of those intersectional games if this were to come to pass?
I hope that doesn't come to pass, and for that exact reason that you said. The Penn State's schedule with 3 non-conference games, well, 2 of them are going to be like last week, and 1 of them is going to be an intersectional game. That's how that's always going to be, for the reason that you just outlined, the 7 home game imperative. So we're going to miss that. I mean, I had a Saturday off, and I really enjoyed watching that Ohio State-Notre Dame game. I mean, sometimes you have to just think about what football fans like and what they're going to enjoy, and it seems like I'm with you. I would hate to see that happen.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you because fans want to see games with juice and stakes.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, that Oregon Georgia game, although it was not a competitive football game, I mean, it allowed you went wow at Georgia with all they lost from that defense last year, and to come up with such a dominant performance against a team that we think is pretty good. I mean, those games just count more. They just have more of a factor in the regular season and in your assessment of teams, and it's more information in addition to being more enjoyable to watch.
Yeah. Any thoughts at all on Auburn? Look, I mean, I've looked at the first 2 games, and I don't know. I mean, I know Bigsby's good. We already knew that. Hall, 29 on defense, is a great player. I'm not sure how much I know about them.
Yeah, and Hall, I think, Hall had 15 tackles last week or something like that.
But geez, Mike, he is an NFL player. He's got great speed.
No doubt, yeah. No. Last year they played Akron and Alabama State the first 2 weeks and destroyed both. It was like 120 to 10 or something like that. These 2 performances, I don't think you can say have been all that impressive. I mean, they were losing at halftime to San Jose State. That game was pretty even statistically and in every other way. So far, they've. I think you'd have to say they struggled so far. I think based on the 2 games, Penn State has been the more impressive team, and they are, a 3-point favorite. I'm a little surprised, given the schedule, that Auburn hasn't looked a little better. I don't know what to make of that. I think I'm going to. One of my projects for this week is to back in the history of that sort of thing, where teams sort of struggle against somebody you expect them to blow out, and then kind of step onto the big stage, which is what I mean, which is what I'm saying by playing Penn State.
Right. No.
But so far they haven't been great. I think that's fair to say.
Are you going?
I am going.
Good. I'm going to guess you've never been there.
I've never been there. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here. That's one of those places I've never been to. I don't know.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is you couldn't get a hotel anywhere near the place for less than like $600. So a lot of us are going to be flying into Atlanta and then driving part way, and I don't know how much time we'll actually get to spend in Auburn, Alabama, but we'll see. But I am looking forward to the trip. I've never been there, and pretty fired up about it. It's one of those college football venues. Yeah.
Yeah, you're staying in Atlanta?
No, I'm not. I'm going a little farther south. Is it Columbus, Georgia?
Columbus, yeah. Columbus, Georgia is right over the line. It's like 30 miles away.
Yeah. I thought that would be a really comfortable drive to and from the actual game. But yeah, it's a little bit of it's a drive of an hour plus, I think, from Atlanta to.
Oh, it's 2
hotel,
hours.
But, yeah.
Oh, it's 2 hours. Yeah, from Atlanta.
Oh my,
yeah, 2 hours. Yeah, because the football team is not staying at Auburn, so there's really no place to stay. No, so
yeah, it wasn't. It's not a great trip from the sort of logistics of travel standpoint, but again, it's one of those places. I'm glad I'm going to get to go there.
Same thing. I'm anxious to see the place. No getting around it.
Yeah.
Mike, it is always a pleasure. Thanks so much for the time you gave us today. I really appreciate you and the insight.
I enjoyed it, Steve, as always. I'll see you in Alabama, I guess.
You bet. Thanks, Mike.
All righty. See you later.
Mike Gross. So, by the way, I know people always ask these questions, so I'll just answer it before somebody asks. The officiating crew on Saturday will be from the Big Ten. Okay? Just because people always want to know. Okay? So the officiating crew will be from the Big Ten. We actually got a question. What was the question we got? I think you sent it to me, and I don't.
I just got to pull it back up. It was from our friend Tom at AZ.
Yeah. Let's see here if I can find it, because I know that. You sent something out. Let's see.
Oh, here we go. I got it here.
Picture your kids. Picture your kids. Picture your kids. Picture your kids.
I got it here. Steve, great 2-0 start. Quick question. James talks about the middle 8 stat.
Oh, okay.
Can you explain what that is, Tom from AZ?
Okay, Tom, the middle 8. It is what I refer to. See, James and I just use different terminology. And I refer to it as the 2 for none, which is actually what they had on Saturday, where you have deferred, or the opponent has elected to kick off to start, or elected to receive to start the game. And you're going to get the ball to start the second half. The idea is to go out and end the half with a score, and then start the second half with the ball and get a score. So when he talks about the middle 8, he's talking about winning the final 4 minutes of the first half and winning the first 4 minutes of the second half. That's the middle 8. So one way or the other, either you hold them off from scoring or you score yourself, then you get the ball, you score, and then you hold them off, whatever. You win those middle 8, final 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 minutes of the second half. That's the middle 8. It's actually a pretty easy question to answer. So, all right, take a break. Come back. Today in my class, by the way, I referenced your guys.
Oh, boy.
I explained that, once again, Giancarlo Stanton did a second-inning home run. And I said, late in the game, I said, palms get a little sweaty. Suddenly we're not playing for the Marlins anymore. I said, Garrett Cole, I said, I don't think somebody told him, but all the teams in the playoffs have winning records. That's not good. And then I put up the record of Aaron Judge and what he needs to do to pass Babe Ruth in 154 games and Roger Maris in 162.
I see.
Well, what we're doing is the second project is covering a game. And I said, I don't want you to take me through the game. Don't. You've got to have critical thinking. So I said the vast majority of the audience has done one of two things. They have either, or one of three things. They've either watched the game, they've seen the highlights of the game, or they've looked at the box score of the game. So you got to find the story within the story. And I pointed out Aaron Judge is a great story. It's a minute report. Said he's at 55 home runs. He's played 137 games. The Yankees have played 141. Correct so far?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. Thanks. And appreciate you having along for the ride. And I said, Ruth hit 60 and 154. I said, and the last one was off Tom Zachary, the Washington Senators. I pointed out to them they're now the Minnesota Twins. All right? And then Maris had 59 after 154 games. Thus, they wanted to play around with the asterisk. I said, well, now he's got, essentially 21 games to hit to beat Maris. 7 more home runs. So that's a home run every 3 games. Said he's got 13 games to hit 5 home runs to tie Ruth, or hit 6. I said that is a story within a story that you can construct. It's called critical thinking. I said I want you guys to think. You've got to look at games differently and come up with the story within the story, because everybody's already watched or is aware of the game story. So I brought your guys up today.
There you go.
I also pointed out the Mets were 40 and 120 and 162 games. All right, we'll come back with, in 1962. We'll come back with more in a moment. Great to have you with us today on News Radio 1070 WKOK.
For nearly 100 years, Purdy Insurance has been your locally owned, family-operated source for insurance products. With a staff of over 20 and partnerships with some of the industry's most trusted companies, Purdy has the experience and resources to get the job done. Whether you need personal, home, and auto, or complex business insurance solutions, Purdy will help you navigate through the process. Call today at 570-286-5855, or better yet, stop in their Sunbury office to see what Purdy Insurance can do for you.
When it comes to car buying, there's the other guy's way, and then there's the SMC way. The other guys force you into a vehicle you really don't want. The Sunbury Motors way lets you take the time you need to browse, ask questions, and take the test drive and think on it. For over 100 years, the Mertz family and all their employees have made your experience the most pleasant one you'll ever have. The other guys won't offer you the best price for your trade, no matter how much they say they will. The SMC way is their promise to provide you with the most money the market shows your vehicle is worth. The SMC way is to offer you all applicable factory rebates on new vehicles and generous discounts. Looking for a pre-owned vehicle? The SMC way checks each vehicle in a 200-mile radius to determine the lowest price, then beat it. It's the lowest price promise, just part of the SMC way. The choice is up to you, the other guy's way or the SMC way. The SMC way wins every time. Sunbury Motors Company in the North 4th Street Auto Plaza, Sunbury, and at sunburymotors.com. Selling more cars and satisfying more customers for over 100 years.